What indeed is behind Whole Foods' decision to label GMOs in their stores? They have, of course, announced that by 2018, 5 years out, they will label everything that they sell on their shelves as being either non-GMO or as being GMO in the ingredients list. They previously acted like this was a ridiculous idea. When we spoke to Whole Foods people in our InfoWars interview, you had organic spies and other grassroots advocates pushing for labeling and exposing the fact that Whole Foods was hiding their GMO ingredients on the shelves while promoting themselves as organic, while having giant billboards, nothing artificial ever, when they've got lab-created, genetically modified ingredients on their shelves.
I don't think that Whole Foods does anything to try and make people think that we don't have food with GMOs in them.
You see behind me, they have the slogan on this new store location, "Nothing artificial ever." However, that's not the case, which is why we also have to now put the spotlight on Whole Foods.
Now I think we're very clear about marking which foods are non-GMO.
But there's even more to the story than Mike Adams and John Rappaport brought out in their articles, although they were great articles showing how even though Whole Foods is responding to the bottom line because, of course, they're a business, consumer pressure, people saying no to GMOs, and pushing for Prop 37 in California did have a big effect. But there has been secret meetings going on. If you could pull up that article on the page over there, are Walmart and Big Food lobbying for a GMO labeling law? You've got Ronnie Cummins from the Organic Consumers Association, who's really been at the heart of the issue in the details of what's going on, explaining how high-level executives from some of the U.S.'s largest food corporations are meeting with the FDA behind closed doors as of the beginning of January of this year, cozying up so they can derail the organic and anti-GMO movement and pass basically a soft labeling law to preempt the states. They want to issue the idea of preemption that stronger state laws most likely wouldn't pass or possibly couldn't pass if there's a federal law on the books. And he says, in part, is it possible that the threat posed by growing grassroots GMO labeling has prompted a number of Fortune 500 companies to abandon Monsanto and biotech and rethink the PR and bottom line costs of clinging to their anti-right-to-know positions? After all, it's not as if these companies are incapable of making GMO-free products, though many Americans don't know it. Walmart, General Mills, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle, Unilever, Kellogg, Starbucks, even McDonald's are GMO-free in Europe thanks to strict labeling laws. And you go on to see how in the New York Times later in January, they reported on more and more meetings with the big food industries who say they're pushing for genetic changes to food and how it may get uniform labeling. Why? Because they heard consumers saying no to GMO, and they saw what happened in California, and they say, although they were fine with bankrolling opposition to Prop 37 during this past election concentrated in California, they do not want to face what is now up to 20 states considering labeling laws and still a lot of consumer pressure for outright bans. The bottom line is that Whole Foods is on the inside. They know there's a sea change in the labeling laws coming. They want to be ahead of the curve because their identity rests on selling organic foods, and they don't want people thinking about their GMOs.